Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in making this Summer Lovin Anklet, which you can make as a bracelet or a necklace too. Keep in mind, if you need any materials, search below me to shop with us online. So to begin our anklet, you want to gather up some materials. You need to have some head pins, and honestly the size and gauge doesn't really matter. It's just dependent on the beads you're using. I have here some little crystals in the Montana color, some rounds in Aqua, some of the drops in blue Zircon, and then some of the tubes here in my metallic blue. So I have just a combination of all kinds of different blues and my head pins. What I'm going to begin by doing is creating a series of eye pins. These are on the bottom of the head pins, a little round loop that we're going to use to attach onto the different sections of our micro spacers there. So to begin, what I have handy are round nose pliers, my needle nose pliers, and a nice sharp pair of wire cutters. You're going to load on in whatever design you want. Now keep in mind, if it is on your ankle or you're making it as a bracelet, you don't want it too long because it might drive you crazy then. I'm going to take my round nose pliers, leave about 1/8 of an inch right above the beads. Hold the beads and turn your round nose pliers towards the back. The wire is going to be coming straight out basically from your chest, and then those beads are going to be straight in line with your body. Take that wire over the top of the round nose pliers. Then once you're over the top of the round nose pliers, switch from the top jaw to the bottom jaw of those pliers. If you do need help making the eye pins, I also have lots of videos showing you how to do the specific eye pins. Once you flip from the bottom jaw to the top jaw, you're going to take that wire back to 90 degrees, just like we started when we bent our round nose pliers. Once you've done so, hold the head of the loop that you just made, or that eye pin, and coil the extra wire around the top of the beads 2 times. Go ahead and cut off the extra portion of the wire, and if you need to, take your needle nose pliers and just flatten out the end of that wire the slightest bit, so that way it doesn't grab on any clothing or catch on anything that you may be wearing. You're going to repeat this with several different head pins. So depending on how many links you have when we go in and start adding our jump rings, that's going to depend how many crystals you want to do. You can do 1 per jump ring, you can do 4, you can do 6, it's up to you. I'm going to continue on making a bunch more of my little coiled eye pins on the head pin setting, and then I'll show you how we're going to go in and add them on to get our micro spacers as our chain for our anklet. Once you're all finished making a bunch of the head pins, and these coiled eye pins you want to keep in mind as you're doing them, I like to do them all at once. If I need more, I can simply do that, but I made all the coils at the same time, put them in a pile, then I grabbed my wire cutters, cut off all the extra wire at the same time. It makes it go a lot faster. For the execution of this, I'm using the 3-hold micro spacers and 6mm jump rings in a 20 gauge. I'm going to hang approximately 4 of my little coiled eye pins down from the jump rings and connect the micro spacers together. You'll notice in the micro spacers, they have a hole, and this is going to be for the Potomac Crystal Chaton and the SS8 is what I'm going to put into that hole. You want to keep in mind that if you are doing this as an anklet, I've done one to show you how where you put the head pins on the jump ring is going to dictate how it hangs on the design. In these 3, 1, 2, 3, I've hung 4 head pins at the bottom of the jump ring and then added the 2 micro spacers basically to each side. This one here, if I'm doing it as a necklace, I might want it to hang a little bit more funky. For the anklet, I want them to hang down. So the position on where you put those head pins on the jump ring is going to determine that. On this one here, I have 3 to the top and 3 to the bottom, which again for a necklace design would look really cool because they're going to hang kind of towards the side. For the anklet, I want them to hang down. So if you do want them to hang down, you're going to open up your jump ring with your needle nose pliers, put your 4 beads onto the jump ring, grab the end of your last micro spacer and place that onto the jump ring as well. Grab another micro spacer and add that on the other side of the jump ring. Pour these out here. Once you have that on the other side of the jump ring, you want to make sure that it is facing the correct way. So if you lay it down, that the holes are all facing up. and then you're going to close up that jump ring. When you close up a jump ring, you want to think about the fact that you are taking it and just bending it back to its original rounded position, going a little tiny bit past where you think it'll close, and then letting it go. The nice thing with these 20 gauge jump rings is that it's nice and firm and you don't have to worry about them opening up. The other thing that you don't have to worry about is losing a bunch of these coiled eye pins, because we did coil them rather than just an open loop. I think that's essential for working with, especially on an anklet, working with wire, is to coil those loops and then also use a jump ring that is thick enough to hold its shape. I'm going to continue on adding a couple more here of my MicroSpacers and my little cha-cha charms that I've created, and finish up the bracelet, getting it to the length that I need to. Then we'll go in and I'll show you how to apply the crystals as well as add the clasp. Once you get all of your jump rings closed, I recommend using a couple of the jump rings at the end in order to make it adjustable, so that way if your ankles are a little bit bigger or smaller that day, depending on heat, you can kind of adjust it with just a lobster clasp on the end. What I was going to show now is the E6000 glue, or you can do the Loctite glue, and how I'm going to go in and easily do these SS8 chatons. I say easily, we'll see. Sometimes they're a little bit harder and a little bit trickier to get in than others. Because the space is so small, I just opened this E6000 glue, and I'm grabbing one of my head pins here, and I'm actually going to put the glue onto one of my head pins. Drop a tiny bit of glue in each one of the settings, because I don't want it to have too much glue that you end up seeing the glue on the sides. So you'll see I just have the tiniest little bit of glue, and I've chosen the aqua color of the crystal to go in here. If you notice that you have too much glue, you can go in with your head pin and take that off. You're going to go in with your crystal pickup artist and make sure that the clay there is picking up your crystal. Go into where you've added, and I'm going to go straight down, adding in my crystal, making sure that it sits straight, and then pressing it down with that pickup artist for a couple seconds. Making sure that it sits correctly, then I'll pick up the next one and do the following. So this is the tiniest chaton that we have, so I find it the most difficult to work with. But once you get it in there, and that pickup artist little side tool there is really nice, it will stay in there really, really well. So I'm going to go through now and add that nice sparkly SS8 the whole way on my line to give it a little bit more bling. After that, again, all I have to do is go down, add one more jump ring, and my clasp is done. I ended up with 9 of my 3-hole MicroSpacers. You can do all different counts. Another cool idea would be to use jump rings on either side of this as well and make that crystal section a little chunkier. So I'm going to proceed to finish up my fun Summer Lovin Anklet. Thanks so much for joining me in making this Summer Lovin bracelet. Remember, if you need any supplies, check below me for the links to shop with us online. Remember also, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button to get regular updates from us here at Potomac Beads. As always, you can also give a little thumbs up and comment below with any ideas, suggestions, or questions that you may have. As always, thanks so much for watching, and happy beading.